Welcome to the Higher Self Club podcast. I'm your host, Shay, and together we'll dive deep into topics such as mindset, manifestation, money, business, and wellness, so you can feel expanded and empowered to create a life of joy and freedom. I'm so excited to be on this journey with you. Let's get into it. Hello, beautiful human. Welcome back to another episode of the Higher Self Club podcast. I feel like my hair looks watching this on video. I trialed heatless curls last night and I don't know, I feel like I can work with them, but right now I just feel frizzy. So anyway, I am feeling like this episode is super overdue because it's such a big part of the work that I do with my clients, and it's such a big part of everything that I teach and that I'm so passionate about. I do interweave it into most of my episodes, but I thought it deserved its own episode and now feels like the right time for a number of reasons. So what I want to talk to you about today is nervous system regulation. I know that is such a buzzword right now, but I wanted to create a nervous system 101 podcast episode for you to really understand it on a deep level, how it applies to you, and why it is so important for you to feel good in your body, for you to feel good in your mind, and for you to also manifest the most magical life. Why now feels like the right time to record this episode is because it's been an intense start to the year. There's obviously a lot of awful things happening in the world now on a really big scale, a lot of war, a lot of pain, a lot of fear. There's a lot of change going on right now. Then on a smaller scale, I know for myself at least, I've experienced a lot of intense energy at the start of this year, health challenges with my family, lots of change and lots of things shifting. It definitely feels like it's for the greater good, but it can feel like a lot. So I'm really looking forward to bringing in some more lightness, some more easeful energy into the next coming months. I am heading off to Sri Lanka and the Maldives in a couple of weeks for my mum's 60th birthday, which I'm really looking forward to. And then Daniel and I are going to head to Bali. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm so excited to share some of that energy with you. Because to be very honest with you, I've felt quite challenged the last couple of months. I think because of everything that's going on in the world, because of these big intense shifts, I've really felt it. And also things to do with my health as well, which I'll go into in a little bit. But I've really had to work hard at embodying these practices that I'm going to teach you today and really walk my talk. And I've really felt what it's felt like to feel really stressed and really anxious and really overwhelmed. And I haven't felt this way in quite a while. So it was good for me to experience, to have compassion and to have a deeper understanding of the things that I'm teaching, because sometimes when you haven't experienced that heaviness for a while, you can become a little bit disconnected from that experience. But I'm really hoping by the end of today's episode that if you are feeling a lot of anxiety right now, if you're feeling a lot of overwhelm, I'm really wanting to help you to find more lightness and more ease in your body, because so many people are feeling so anxious all the time, and it does not have to be this way. So I really want you to know you don't need to feel anxious all the time. You don't need to feel constantly on edge. There are so many things that you can do right now that are more simple than you might think, that literally by the end of this episode, you will have the tools that can help you immediately. So I'm really looking forward to diving in. And as I mentioned before, nervous system regulation is quite a buzzword right now, and I think it's really confusing a lot of people because the way that it is being spoken about can make it sound like you should never feel stressed or you should never feel anxious or overwhelmed, and that is bad. But that's not really the goal. The goal is to not never feel fear or anxious or stressed, because you are a human being. You are meant to feel activated sometimes. You're meant to feel all of these emotions. Regulating your nervous system isn't about eliminating those experiences. It's more so about having flexibility. It's about asking yourself, okay, how quickly can I move from this stress state back to a state of balance? That is the real goal. So let's say you have a fight with your partner. Do you let that put you in a mood for the rest of your day? Let's say you spill your coffee on yourself in the morning. Does that leave you feeling stressed the whole day? Or are you able to feel that emotion, experience it in your body, and then let it go and move on from a more balanced state? This is truly what nervous system regulation is all about. It's about being able to hold stress, being able to walk into a situation, experience a situation where your body should be activated. And then once that situation is over, how quickly are you able to come back into a state of calm? So this is where the challenge is, because most people don't come back down into a state of calm. In today's modern world, our nervous systems are not very flexible because we're living in a world where there is constant stimulation, constant pressure. We're consuming so much information with social media, and this causes a constant state of activation in our body. And whilst this has become so normalized, it's certainly not healthy. It truly does impact every area of your health, your hormones, your sleep, your creativity, your ability to make decisions and think clearly. It affects everything. So not only is our environment chaotic naturally, we also have all this chaos that's happening in the outer world right now. And it can just add a lot of stress and a lot of overwhelm to the body. And it is a lot, but when it comes down to it, in the end, no matter what's happening on the outside, we cannot control what is happening in our external world. But what you can have control over is learning how to nourish your inner world. And this is where our power is. And the beautiful thing is when you learn to nourish your internal world and create a sense of calm and safety and groundedness in your body, it does ripple out into every single person you meet. You changing your internal world can actually change the external world. And I know it might sound a little bit cliche or dramatic, but this really can change the world. You doing this work for yourself can change the world. So this has felt extra alive for me recently because I've felt quite challenged. I really had to walk my talk, practicing everything I'm going to share with you today because I've just felt so activated. I am on thyroid medication right now because I don't have a thyroid gland. Being on this higher dose than I should be right now, it's pushed me into a slightly hyperthyroid state, which means my thyroid hormone is overactive. And it just has made my nervous system so sensitive. I felt super on edge. I felt super anxious, which is quite frustrating for me because I've worked so hard over the years to create a calm and grounded state within my body. But it's also been beautiful to be able to feel what it is to be anxious. So I'm able to have more compassion and understanding for what it's like. And let me tell you, this work actually works. These tools really work. Even though I have a hormonal imbalance that is out of my control, these tools still 100% work. And it is so empowering to know that you can have control over your state. So to start with, I just want to touch on what is actually happening inside your body when you feel stressed and anxious. And then I also want to go into why this conversation is so important, maybe the most important piece when it comes to manifestation and calling in the things in your life that you're wanting to create right now. This is the foundational piece that people forget about when trying to achieve any kind of goal. This is step one. And then afterwards, we're going to get super practical and go into tangible tools that you can start to take to be the most cool, calm, collected queen possible. Okay, so your nervous system has two main systems. So you have your central nervous system. So this is your brain and your spinal cord. Think of this as your command center. If you see your coffee, your central nervous system is responsible for communicating to your brain that you want to pick up that coffee and allowing your arm to move to pick it up to move, if that makes sense. So it makes your body move and do things. But the part that we are focusing on for this episode is your autonomic nervous system. This is the part that runs automatically. Think your breathing, your heart rate, your stress response. You are not consciously choosing for these things to happen. They happen beneath your awareness without you even having to think about it. Within your autonomic nervous system, there are two main states. Your sympathetic state, this is your stress response. This is your, okay, we need to deal with something right now energy. And then you have your parasympathetic state. This is your rest and digest state. This is your body knowing that it is safe. And this is the state that we're wanting to operate out of most of the time. And the goal is to be able to move between these two states fluidly. When your system is activated, so that's your sympathetic nervous system is activated, there are 4 ways that you might respond. So you would have heard this before. There's fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So I just wanted to go through this because this is going to start to help you bring some awareness to ways in which you might be activated in your life. Because often we think that stress and anxiety presents just as feeling that really intense anxiety, but it can also present in other areas of your life as well. So this is just going to help you to bring awareness to subtle places that this might be playing out in your life where you might be dysregulated and you might not be aware of it. Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So fight, you're faced with a threat. This is when your nervous system kicks into that sympathetic state and you're ready to fight. So fight might also look like frustration or irritability or control, where you're fighting someone or something and you're moving towards the threat. Flight is when you're running away from the threat. So this can also look like anxiety or overthinking or constantly being busy can be how flight presents in your life. If you know that there's something you need to do or someone you need to see and you're just acting like you're busy all the time, that's a form of flight where you're avoiding. So any kind of avoidance is flight. Then we have freeze. So this looks like feeling stuck or numb or disconnected, or maybe you dissociate. So in terms of a physical threat, it's when you literally freeze up and you feel like you can't move. Like when a dog plays dead, that's its freeze response. And then we have fawn. So fawn is where you're appeasing or complying to the threat. So this can present as people pleasing or over accommodating or ignoring your needs or losing yourself to keep the peace. So these are all protection mechanisms. Now, this next part is really important. Sometimes what can happen is you might be living in a constant state of activation and you might not even realize it. So this is very common. And sometimes because you're so used to living in this activated state, it can actually feel unsafe to slow down. It can feel unsafe when your parasympathetic state comes online. So let's bring a little bit more awareness to if this might be happening for you. We're going to go through some signs that you might be experiencing right now that might be indicative that you are in this activated fight or flight state. So some physical symptoms that you might be experiencing are an increased heart rate. You might be experiencing shallow or fast breathing, which is very common. You might experience a tight chest or sore shoulders if you're really hunched up. You might have some like jittery energy where you're feeling a little bit tired but wired. Mentally, you might experience racing thoughts. You might overanalyze everything or find that you ruminate a lot. You might find that your mind is noisy or you're constantly scanning for problems is a big one. Emotionally, you might experience irritation or impatience. You might feel super on edge or overwhelmed. And how this might show up in your behaviors is you might find that you're snapping at people, or maybe you're super avoidant. Maybe you overwork a lot to avoid other things that are happening in your life. Maybe you really struggle to slow down. This one was a big one for me, where I just felt super guilty for stopping. I'd go and try and sit on the couch to watch Netflix or something, and my mind is like, no, you may not relax. Get up. You're not allowed to sit on that couch. Like, it would genuinely make me feel anxious to be able to just sit and relax. These are all signs that you may be operating in that activated fight or flight state. And if right now you're thinking, oh my gosh, I think this is me, I think that I'm experiencing this right now, don't worry. You are exactly where you're meant to be right now. And we're going to begin to work on that today. Something else that I think is worth mentioning in this conversation is something called nervous system priming. So this is where your nervous system has been trained through repetition. So for example, if you grew up in a really stressful environment or experienced emotional instability or an environment that was highly stressful, your body may have learned that this feeling is normal. So now being calm can actually feel unsafe or unfamiliar. So if you find it really hard to relax or really hard to slow down, this could be why. So this could be something to look into. Your nervous system is like a muscle. So if you've been practicing stress, if you've been practicing urgency or emotional shutdown for years, that becomes your default setting. So we need to reset that bad boy. And apart from this being so important for your physical health and your psychological health, creating an internal sense of safety and calm is essential to creating the life that you want to create. Having a regulated nervous system directly impacts your goals and your vision, because when you are in a highly activated stress state, you cannot hear your intuition because you are in survival. When you're in fight or flight, you're in survival state. All you can hear is that little voice that is trying to keep you safe. That voice is often a fearful voice. It'll keep you in fear. It will hold you back from making the moves that you need to make to bring you closer to your vision. You cannot hear that little intuitive voice that has your highest, deepest interests at heart, that is subtly guiding you towards your most magical life. You cannot hear that voice when you are in this activated survival state. When you're in this activated survival state, your focus narrows only on what is important for your survival. You cannot think creatively. You cannot see the opportunities that are presented to you because there is no space in your awareness for anything other than just surviving. So if you feel like things aren't flowing for you right now, or if you feel like you're constantly forcing in your life, this could be why. When you are living in this fight or flight stress response, your body wants you to stay right where you are. It does not want you to take any kind of risks, to do anything that you don't know what the outcome could be, because that is a threat. So we know if we want to create a beautiful life for ourselves and we want to have these big goals, we have to do things that feel a little uncomfortable. If you're in this stress state, it's going to feel so hard. You're going to face so much resistance. So being able to nourish your nervous system, remind yourself that you are safe and create this grounded energy in your body, it's going to allow you to move through that fear with so much more ease. It'll still feel scary, but not as scary as when you're in this super activated state. So let's get practical now, because having awareness of what is going on within you, that is so powerful, and that is step one, but action is what really changes things. So let's start taking action. I'm going to go through a list of tools you can use to start creating a beautiful, nourished, easeful, peaceful internal world. Now, the first two suggestions I'm going to highly suggest you must do. They're simple things. They're non-negotiable. The rest of them, I'm going to invite you to just try out for yourself, see how they fit, see how they work for you. You're an adult with free will. I'm not going to tell you to do all of these things, except the first two I'm telling you, okay? So number one is just the basics, getting your sleep right, your nutrition and movement. Try to go to sleep and wake up at the same time each night if possible. Getting enough sleep. The first thing to go when you are sleep deprived is your ability to regulate your emotions. So you could be doing all the right things, but if you're not getting enough sleep, your nervous system is just going to struggle a lot more. So just getting your sleep right. I know it's so simple and boring, but it is so important. Nutrition, trying to eat whole foods as close to source as possible, not having 10 coffees a day on an empty tummy, you know the drill. And movement. Are you moving every day? Not smashing those HIIT workouts every day as a woman. It can be super inflammatory and activate your stress response. I used to do these high intensity workouts every single day, not realizing that it was keeping me in that activated stress state. So just tuning into how you're feeling, tuning into your cycle, making sure that you are balancing out those HIIT workouts with some slower workouts if HIIT is your thing. Obviously, yoga, Pilates, walking is just beautiful movement that's a little bit more down regulating for your system. If you are doing those HIIT workouts like I did one today, just making sure that you're doing something down regulating afterwards, even if it's just some slow breathing to help your body come back into a state of balance. So that was number one, your sleep, your nutrition, your movement, getting that down pat. Number two is your breath. This is huge. So breath awareness is a non-negotiable. So right now, I just invite you to tune in to the way that you are breathing. Just tune into your breath. Just notice. Don't try to change or adjust your breath just yet. Just notice how you're breathing right now in this moment. Are you even breathing? Sometimes we tend to hold our breath, which is an indication that maybe you're feeling a little dysregulated. How are you breathing right now? Are you breathing through your nose or through your mouth? Are you breathing into your belly or are you breathing into your chest? How does your breath feel? Does it feel constricted and shallow? Does it feel deep and easeful? I just invite you to start to deepen your breath a little bit. Breathe in through your nose. Guide your breath deep into your belly. A little bit into your chest. And exhale through your mouth. Nice and slow. Okay, so just making sure that you're breathing correctly. We are always wanting to breathe through the nose where possible. Your nose is for breathing, your mouth is for eating. We only want to breathe through the mouth in emergencies, such as when you have a really blocked nose. Breathing through your nose, breathing nice and deep into your belly. If you notice a little baby breathe, you'll notice their belly rises and falls. This is a healthy breath. Then as we grow as adults, often life gets to us, things get busy, we have our busy schedules and all the things we spoke about earlier. Our breath becomes more shallow, we're breathing into our chest. When we breathe this short, shallow breath into our chest, we are activating our sympathetic nervous system. Simply by breathing through the nose and breathing deep into the belly, slowing down your breath, you are taking your body into that beautiful parasympathetic nervous system state, your rest and digest state. Your breath is a direct doorway into your nervous system. Your autonomic nervous system works without you even having to think about it. Your heart beats and you breathe all the time without having to think about it. However, you can actually directly alter these functions with your breath. When you can use your breath to calm your body, an anxious mind cannot exist in a truly relaxed body. So breathing that breath in through your nose deep into your belly, it will put your body into a relaxed state. Also, something really beautiful to remember is when you are focused on your breath, you are not thinking about the future. You are not thinking about the past. Your breath truly anchors you in the present moment, which is the opposite of what anxiety is. So anxiety is when you are worrying about something that might happen in the future or ruminating on something that happened in the past. That's what anxiety is. So the antidote is literally your breath. Because when you focus on your breath, you're not thinking about the past, you're not thinking about the future, you're right here. So step one is to just notice how you're breathing. Make sure that you're breathing correctly by breathing in through your nose deep into your belly. Some other techniques that I wanted to share with you. I'll put a list of these in the show notes so you can easily reference them. One of my favorite ones to do when I'm driving is called the 5-15 hum. So it's a deep breath in through your nose for 5 seconds. Let's do it right now. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on the exhale, hum for 15 seconds. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If that felt too long for you, you can adjust it as you need. I like to just think of a deep breath in through my nose. And then on the exhale, just hum for as long as I can. So the cool thing about humming is it calms your nervous system because when we breathe in through the nose, we are releasing a gas into our blood called nitric oxide. This gas tells the body that we're safe. When you breathe through the mouth, you don't get any of this gas, but when you breathe through the nose, you do. When you hum on the exhale, you get 3 to 5 times more of this gas released into your body. And it also tones something called your vagal nerve, your vagus nerve. So it's called vagal toning. So humming, excellent for your nervous system. Now this next one is incredible because you will never have to worry about not being able to get to sleep again. It's called the 4-7-8. So it's just a deep breath in through your nose for 4 seconds, holding for 7 seconds, and then an exhale for 8 seconds. So it doesn't matter if you exhale through your nose or your mouth, as long as you're breathing in through your nose. So 4-7-8. Now with this one, if you're lying in bed and you can't get to sleep, it might feel like you're really in your head and you might be thinking, oh, this isn't working, this isn't working. I promise if you stick with it, it will put you to sleep. It's like sometimes I do this technique and I can almost witness myself slipping into sleep. So just stick with it next time you can't get to sleep and I promise you it will work. This next one is excellent if you experience panic attacks. If you know someone that experiences panic attacks, it's a good one to have in your back pocket if you ever are in a situation where someone is in a state of panic. This breath will pull them out really quickly. It will help move you out of an overwhelmed state really quickly. So it's called the crying baby breath. It is an incredible technique. So if you listen to a little baby cry when they're really hysterical, they sound a little bit like this. They go, it's like that double breath in and the exhale. So it's actually our body's natural way of calming us down. So what you do is you take a deep breath in through your nose. And when you're full, take another sip in and then a slow exhale through your mouth. And then again, deep breath in through your nose, another sip in. And then a slow exhale through your mouth. So that's the crying baby breath. Very simple. Double breath in, slow exhale out. There are so many different breathing techniques. So these are a couple of my favorites. I'm just going to leave you with one more. And this is your 5-5 breath. So this is just 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. They also call this the perfect breath because this is ideally how we should be breathing in everyday life. So we're just going to take 3 breaths like this together. So wherever you are, just exhale all your breath, let it all go. And you're breathing in through your nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. 4, 3, 2, 1. In. 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. 4, 3, 2, 1. One more deep breath in through your nose into your belly. 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. 4, 3, 2, 1. Just notice how your body feels. Now, if this breath feels extra slow for you, that might be suggesting that you are breathing a little dysfunctionally. Most people are, so you're not alone. Most people are breathing around 3 to 5 times faster than what they should be. So this 5-5 breath is ideally the way that we're breathing. We should be taking around 6 breaths per minute. So those are some breathing techniques. They're good to just write down and have them in your phone. Once you start practicing them and noticing the shift in your body, you'll know what you need in any given moment. You'll know how to adjust your breath in order to give your body what it needs. So these are all down-regulating practices. However, you can also use your breath to up-regulate. I like to do an activating breath in the afternoon instead of reaching for a second coffee. If I don't want any more caffeine, I just sit there and do some really deep breaths in and out through the mouth. So we usually say no breathing through the mouth, but breathing through the mouth for a short period of time with intention can be so powerful. So just start to build a relationship with your breath. Notice the ways in which you shift your breath and how that relates to the way that you're feeling in your body. The next practice I wanted to share with you has absolutely changed my life. This is a little bit of a mindset or paradigm shift. It's called sensation framing. So basically, all it is realizing that every single emotion that you feel is simply just a physical sensation in your body. So all emotions are sensations. So right now, I invite you to think of a time where you were really angry. Think of a time when you were really angry. And just take yourself into that moment if it feels safe for you to do so, and just notice the physical sensation in your body. So if I take myself back to a time when I was angry, oh, it feels like a tightness in my chest, like it takes my breath away. It feels like heat. So just notice where the sensation is for you, noticing what it feels like. Maybe it might have a shape. Now, I'd love for you to think of a time in your life where you felt love, where you felt a deep sense of love. Just taking yourself into that moment. For me, I'm thinking of a time when I was cuddling my sister's dog, who's the biggest cutie ever. And this feels like a little bit of lightheadedness or dizziness in my head. It feels like lightness. If I was to give it a color, right now it's coming through as like a really light blue. It's super interesting when you can start to feel into this and to notice that any emotion that you are experiencing is simply a physical sensation in the body. Something that I find really interesting is that anxiety and excitement are actually the same sensation inside your body. If you take a moment to tune into a time where you felt really excited, notice that sensation, and then tune into a time where you felt really anxious, feel that sensation. The sensation is the same. The only difference between the two is the stories that we attach to that sensation. It's so interesting. The way that emotions impact us is through the stories that we attach to those sensations. So next time, instead of saying to yourself, I am anxious, ask yourself, I'm feeling this sensation in my body. What does this feel like in my body? Where is it? Is it tight? Is it heavy? Is it hot? Is it moving? So what you can do is when you feel a certain way, instead of spiraling into the stories about what it means, ask yourself, what is happening in my body right now? And sit with that sensation. So once you've noticed that sensation, just breathe with it. And once you can breathe with that sensation, you'll notice it starts to move and shift inside your body. This is such an empowering practice. I can't explain how much this has empowered me in my life. When I understood this and when I realized that all emotions are just sensations, it makes me feel like no matter what happens in my life, I know that I can handle it because I can handle big sensations in my body. This practice, it really helps to take you out of your head and into your body. Just breathing with the sensation. Imagine the sensation dispersing and dissolving with your breath. So breath work can really help you with this because breath work can create some really big sensations in your body. If you've ever done a longer breath work session, you might know what I'm talking about when you can experience tingles, lightheadedness, vibrations, cramping. You can feel some really big sensations in your body. So it is a great way to practice holding these sensations and feeling these sensations in your body and not getting caught up with them. So that's just a great concept to keep in the back of your mind and to just start to build some awareness around for yourself. The next tools that I'm about to go through are ones that you might find that you like to use every day. You might find that you like to use for certain situations. I recommend trying them out, seeing how they make you feel. And then eventually you can just have a little toolbox. You can even have a list in your phone of these practices that you can go to in moments where you're feeling like you need some down regulation, some nourishment. So some of these I use daily. Some of them I go through seasons where I use them all the time and seasons where I don't so much. The first one is something I like to call clearing the mental desk. I like the name clearing the mental desk because it literally is that. If you sit at a desk to work and there is crap all over it, I tend to be one of those people that just subconsciously covers the surface of my desk with stuff. It makes it hard for you to work. It makes it hard for you to have a clear mind. The same goes within our mind. If there are unfinished tasks, if there are things that we've been avoiding, conversations we've been avoiding, fines you need to pay, bills you need to pay, those things quietly take up space inside your mind. And it really can impact your nervous system even when you don't realize that it's happening. So what you can do is make a list of all these things that you know that you've been avoiding, that you've been procrastinating on, and then get to work and smash out the list. You will feel so much lighter those things can really linger in the back of your mind and create so much stress and anxiety if they're not addressed. So clearing the mental desk, I like to just put a notification in my calendar every couple of months to make sure that I stay on top of this. This next tool is one of my favorites, and it's simply just to dance and shake it out. So I like to put on my favorite song or a really upbeat song and just shake my body, like dancing around like a crazy person. I find this works best for me when I'm feeling really irritated or angsty or on edge, or I have lots of pent up energy, almost like I've had too many coffees and I feel like I can't sit still and I need to move some energy. So this is when I really like to use this. And dancing is just great. If you're not a dancer, it can feel uncomfortable, but it is a beautiful practice to get out of your mind and in your body and just dance like no one's watching. Going back to shaking, this is such a primal thing for us to shake, to move energy. If you think of an animal when they are under threat, like thinking of a gazelle and they're getting chased by a lion and they get away, you'll notice that once they get away and they're back in safety, they shake because they're shaking that trauma off the body. So this truly is a primal thing that really works well to move energy. The next tool that is incredibly powerful, I've spoken about this many times before, is EFT tapping. So EFT tapping, it is working with the meridian points on your body. So it's like acupuncture without the needles. You can use EFT to move any emotions inside your body. You can tap on any kind of symptoms. It is so versatile. So it's not just for stress and anxiety, but it is so powerful. I found it especially helpful when I don't know what I'm stressed or anxious about. Tapping helps me to get to the root cause of what it is, which is ideal because when you can release the root cause, it helps to relieve those symptoms. To get started with tapping, you can learn how to do this yourself. This is something that I guide my clients through. I am a practitioner for EFT tapping. However, you can look up on YouTube tapping for anxiety or tapping for overwhelm, tapping for focus, and there is lots of resources online that do have free guided videos where you can begin to experience that shift. When you're doing it, you're going to be thinking, this is weird. How is this possibly working? I promise you, stick with it. Every time I do this with a new client, every single time I'll get a message from them a couple of hours later where they'll be like, what the hell, Shay? I feel so different. I think something just healed within me. So it is incredible. It even gets me sometimes. I'm like, this is wild. I just love this so much. It's one of my favorite tools. The next one is brain dumping. This is a journaling technique. It's basically just getting all the noise out of your head down onto paper. This is also really good for getting to the root cause. This is one of my favorite tools to use when I'm feeling overwhelmed. When I feel like there's a lot going on up here, I'm like, oh, I don't even know what I'm overwhelmed about. I don't know what next step to take. Everything just feels like too much at the moment. Just putting pen to paper and just writing a stream of consciousness. It's like this beautiful release where it takes it out of the mind down onto the page, and you'll feel like your thoughts are just starting to unravel and simplify. And then once you get everything down onto paper, you're like, oh, I can circle 3 things that I clearly need to do, and then the overwhelm dissolves. So brain dumping is excellent. Something else that is incredibly powerful in helping you to regulate your nervous system on a really deep level is doing deeper breathwork journeys. So these are longer breathwork journeys, usually around 60 to 90 minutes or even up to 2 hours. And these deeper journeys can really begin to help you to release old trauma, old stuck energy from your body. This is a big part of my work with my clients, is going through these deeper rebirthing journeys, which is a really beautiful style of breath work, very gentle. If your anxiety stems from past traumas and that nervous system priming, what we can do is we can examine any beliefs that you have and we can release them from your subconscious using different subconscious tools and modalities. And then we can release this stored energy from your body using breath work, which is really cool. So pairing breath work with other subconscious modalities, which means we're working with the mind and the body, is a beautiful way to clear your system from anything that might be keeping your nervous system in a state of dysregulation. To do these longer journeys, it is best if you do it with a practitioner. You can do classes, there are online sessions, but I found that when you do it by yourself, it is a little bit harder to let go and fully release because you don't feel as safe as when you have someone there guiding you, holding the space for you. It does create more of a safe container for you to be able to heal on a deep level. So doing breath work, excellent way to completely reset your nervous system. Something else that's going to be excellent for your nervous system is nature, getting in nature, walking in nature without your phone. And I kind of mentioned this earlier, but just being really intentional with the way that you're moving your body. If you're feeling super stressed and activated, maybe going for a run or doing a HIIT workout might not be the best for you. If you're feeling like you have a lot of pent up energy and you need a release, maybe then the HIIT workout is really good for you. Maybe if you're feeling really sluggish and tired, maybe going for a run will give you some activation. It's becoming really aware of how your body is feeling and what you need to bring you into that baseline state. This really is a bit of a self-awareness journey and a journey of really understanding yourself on a deep level. Something else that is excellent for your nervous system is doing artsy things, connecting with your inner child, doing things that feel creative and fun, things that you used to enjoy doing as a child is so healing for your nervous system. You will be amazed on what it is doing to you beneath the surface when you tap into joy. This is a random side note, it just came to mind, but something that I have been really loving to watch at the moment is these camping videos on YouTube where people go solo camping. Usually it's in the rain and it's just a video of them setting up their campsite in the rain. And it is so relaxing to watch. So I highly recommend that. I'm putting that on the list for something to regulate your nervous system is these camping videos. I was literally watching it on Friday night and fell asleep on the couch at 8:30. And I was like, wow, this is 30. But I guess that falls into just being aware of the content you're consuming. Is the content you're consuming making you feel good or is it making you feel stressed? Can you put a cap on how much news you're watching? Just don't watch the news, in my opinion. I know that was a whole lot of things. I hope I didn't overwhelm you, but I just wanted to give you lots of practical tools because everyone works differently. So this is going to be really about trialing what works for you. One day you might try dancing and you're like, nah, fuck this. Another day you might try it again and be like, oh my God, this feels really good. So try things multiple times, depending on how you're feeling. It's a journey, it's fun. Make a list in your phone that you can come back to whenever you're feeling stressed and anxious. You can pick something out of that list and just try it. I'm going to put a list of everything I've gone through today in the show notes. You can just copy and paste that into your phone. And eventually it does just become second nature. You just know what to do in order to help you bring you back to that beautiful baseline state, which is honestly self-mastery. It does take practice, but it is one of the most beautiful journeys that you can go on because it allows you to move through life with so much ease and so much flow and know that you're going to be okay no matter what happens. So this really is about more than just feeling calm. This is about the life that you get to experience because when you feel safe in your body, you think differently, you act differently, you attract differently. So I'm so excited for you to go on this journey to really master this for yourself. And if you are looking to go deeper and you're looking for some more support on this journey, I am so excited to share that the waitlist for the next round of my 12-week program, it's opening next week. So this program, it is an entire life upgrade, an entire life overhaul, mastering your nervous system, becoming deeply connected to your intuition, rewiring any old outdated beliefs, so you can really quantum leap this year, so you can feel good in your body, so you can create this magical life that you've been craving for so many years. This is the year that you do it, that you make that real. So really taking advantage of that fire horse energy, and you're going to do it alongside women who are like-minded and also committed to creating magical, enchanted lives. So I'll share more with you about that and how you can get on that waitlist in the next episode. But for now, I hope you really enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions, please reach out. I'm always happy to help guide you depending on what you need and your experience. So My Instagram inbox is always open. My email is always open. I'll pop those contact details below. Otherwise, I hope you have the most beautiful rest of your day, and I'll speak to you next week. Mwah! Bye.